Hey, what's up guys, TotallydubbedHD here, and today I'm doing a video review on the Tesco Hudl2. Before getting into this review, I'd like to thank Tesco for sending me out the Hudl2. I've had it for about 3 weeks now, and I've been using it pretty much on and off every other day, watching movies, playing games, replying to emails, you name it. Very much useful, especially when I was on holiday. So let's get into this review. So first of all, the Hudl2 can be purchased in multiple different colours for around £130. It comes in purple, blue, pink, turquoise, orange, which is this one, red, black and white. Speaking about that, it's actually great that Tesco have included that, and the price point it comes in at very much surprised to see such a variety of colours. So great job Tesco's for that. On top of that, you can buy a bunch of accessories. For example, I got this little silicone type thing, I guess, protection, which is great, and the design is actually quite interesting to see. So there's a bunch of accessories you can actually also buy for them. They're also all affordable, and they complement the actual device itself. Now, in order to do this review, what I'm going to do is actually speak about the build quality, then go into the specifications of the tablet, whilst commenting on the specifications at the given price point, which is, as I said, £130. So starting with the build quality, as I said, the orange is very nice, all the different colour options are very nice. What I especially like is the fact of the back is a bit rubberized, meaning the grip is quite nice of the tablet. It doesn't sort of slip out of your hand, it really does feel quite nice. On top of that, as you can see, there is no capacitive buttons, it's all on screen, so therefore if I tilt it, you'll be able to see the buttons tilt with it over there as well. So in terms of the design, it's quite interesting to have that. On top of that, it's got a micro USB slot at the bottom. It's got the volume rocker over here, it's got the power button over there, it's got internal audio, 3.5mm jack is what I'm trying to say over there, and it's also got a SD card expansion which can be up to 32GB, and finally a mini HDMI port, which is really cool for connecting up to the TV. So overall the build quality is quite good. My only complaint is the speaker placement. I would have preferred if the speaker placement, which is a stereo design, to be at the front, especially because we've got a reasonably big bezel. Of course I understand the bezel would have been slightly bigger, or we've lost a little bit of the screen over here, but I don't think that would have been such a big deal. So it's just a minor thing, it's not really a complaint at all about it, it's just something I noted about it. Now let's go into the specs and my overall thoughts and opinions about that. So first of all, it's got an internal memory of 16GB. 16GB is decent, to be honest. It's what I'm used to on my phone. And on top of that, as I said, with a micro SD card with the expansion of 32GB, gives you plenty of room for loads of movies. This is great because I did put a lot of movies on this tablet, and it was very much great that I could actually put my music, my pictures, and even my movies all on the micro SD card and actually use them on the tablet. So that's really cool. Now, speaking about the display, it's an 8.3-inch IPS LCD display, 1920 x 1200 pixels, running at 273 ppi. Now the ppi isn't great, therefore when zooming into text it did look a little bit blurry, but that said, I don't really care at its given price point. It's not something I'm going to be overly critical about either. Its resolution was decent, it's full HD, it's more than full HD, but it's full HD, which meant that viewing Blu-ray quality films on my tablet were actually very, very pleasant. The IPS display does give a really nice, accurate display, especially in comparison to something, for example, like a Note 2, which will look very much oversaturized due to it having an AMOLED display. So you can see the same wallpaper in both things. Of course, there's a phone, it's a tablet, or phablet, shall I say, but you can see the colors are a little bit more accurate. But you'll also be able to notice something else. There's a lot of reflection, and that's due to its kind of glossy screen. Due to having an IPS, a glossy screen aids with deeper blacks in terms of the colors that are represented. And therefore, it's just something that you should bear in mind. If you're going to see in bright sunlight, as you can see in the background, you can see my hand waving across as a reflection. So do bear that in mind when getting this tablet. On top of that, it's very much a fingerprint magnet. The fingerprints on this tablet are unbelievable. They go all over the place, and I was regularly cleaning the tablet with my shirt. Now, one thing I did notice about the screen is that it's got a slight yellow tint, whereas an AMOLED like the Samsungs have a slight blue tint. The Hudl 2 had a slight yellow tint. And the way I noticed, well, I put it next to an iPad, and the iPad was really perfect in its white reproduction, and this was a little bit yellow in terms of tint. That said, I do expect that in quite a few devices. I'm not sure if it's really of a design flaw or not, but it's something I should mention to you guys. If you're looking for accurate colors, then look for a different tablet. But do remember its price point. Now, moving on from the display itself, moving to the CPU and the RAM. The CPU has a Intel Atom 1.83 GHz quad-core CPU, coupled with a 2 GB of RAM. Now that's plenty in my opinion for a tablet of this stature, but I did notice a little bit of lag, a little bit of lack of responsiveness when going in and out of applications. When running games, for example, this is Temple Run 2, I didn't notice any lag at all within the game. It's just that when I started exiting the game or going into different things, I did notice a little bit of stuttering. As you saw, a little bit of stutter before getting into the game right there. And as you can see now, absolutely no problem. You know, really responsive on how good it is. So just bear that in mind when you're going to get this tablet. Don't expect a lightning fast tablet, just expect a tablet of what the price you're paying for. The RAM was decent as well in terms of handling multiple applications, and therefore it's not something I would really be overly excited about because it's just RAM. Now moving on to the Wi-Fi. Now the Wi-Fi had 2.4 GHz and an impressive 5 GHz frequency capability. This was great because I was able to use my 5 GHz frequency I have at home, which you'll be able to see here, DDWRT 5 GHz, and therefore the speeds were blistering fast. Watching movies or streaming something were really good. 5 GHz is not used commonly, but if you've got the capabilities, I'll definitely suggest it, especially the fact that you've got a tablet which does have it. At its given price point, it's a huge plus to have 5 GHz frequency on it. Moving on to the operating system. If it wasn't obvious already, it's running Android. But it's on the specs it comes up with running Android 4.4, but in fact it's actually running Android 4.4.2. And this comes with the update. So Android 4.4.2 is decent enough, it's really nice. I would love to see Lollipop on this, so Android 5.0, but I don't really think realistically we're going to see it, especially at the price point the tablet comes in at. But it would be amazing if it does. 4.4.2 personally is absolutely decent. I'm very much accustomed to it, especially to on the Note 2. So no problem in terms of that, and very much happy with the experience. Finally, moving on to the cameras. Now the front-facing camera is decent for web calls or Skype calls or anything like that. It's got 720p resolution and it's got 1.2 megapixel camera. It's decent, it's okay, it's nothing special, it's just a front-facing camera. The rear-facing camera on the other hand is 1080p Full HD and 5 megapixel. However, the camera was actually quite awful. It was really worrying as to how bad it was. It's not something I would really take photos with anyway, like I wouldn't really take photos on a tablet anyway, but if you do want to take photos, then I wouldn't really suggest using it on a Hudl 2. I would use it, even with a 3-year-old smartphone, it would probably take better photos than the Hudl 2 would. Finally, speaking about the back side over here, you can see the camera, you can also see the speakers. The speakers are a Dolby audio speakers, and I was very much impressed with the sound. Very nice stereo sound, and very much rich in terms of the sound quality. Very good from Tesco's for actually including two speakers. It would have been great if they were front-facing, but it's not the end of the world, especially at the price point it comes at. It's to be expected. The internal sound was also very good. I actually watched a couple of movies on it, for example Transformers. I felt like rewatching that, and it was actually very good in terms of its audio quality. So definitely recommended for music or any sort of movies that you want to watch with expanded frequency range. So great in terms of that. Now finally, the battery life. The battery life was absolutely mind-blowing. It was very, very good and very impressive to me. I had a point that it ran for 2.5 days, and that was with around 4 hours screen on time. Sensational battery life. Really impressed with it. The charge time was about 2 hours or so from 0 to hero, but its life in terms of how much it lasted was very impressive. Watching movies, I was able to watch 1.5 full-length movies, if that makes sense, before the battery depleted. So, great battery life, especially the fact that I used the brightness at 100%. Finally, just to round it off, I should mention there's a slight little bug which actually Tesco are aware of. It's something I just notified them of, and that's to do with the auto rotation. As you can see, first of all, the auto rotation thing isn't on this. It would have been nice if we had the option of adding it over here. But anyway, in the settings, you're going to have display, you're going to have auto rotate, and you can, sorry, not settings over there. It's in accessibility, and you go to auto rotate screen. Now if I were to disable it and then restart the phone, it would re-enable it, which is a bug to me. Which seems a bit weird, but anyway, it's just something you should bear in mind. That said, with a tablet, I tended to rotate it quite a lot, so it didn't really bug me that much, the fact that it had that problem, but it's just a little bug that they need to iron out. Overall, at £130, this tablet's really, really good. The colours, the build quality, the actual internal specs of it, the hardware so to speak, and on top of that the overall performance was actually very, very good. I don't think there's any other tablet like this at the given price range. Sure, there's tablets which are much more expensive and do better, but at the given price range I don't think you can find better. Especially the fact that you actually get around £60 of club card vouchers as well in the package, which is useful as a Tesco customer, is really, really good, and it kind of shaves down the price of the overall tablet. So great job Tesco's for producing a lovely tablet. Really nice job overall. As I said, the only things I could really critique was that little auto rotate bug, the yellowish tint, the fact that the back camera is not good at all, and the fact that the speaker placement would have been a bit better if it was at the front. Apart from that, flawless victory, really good. Alright guys, well hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, make sure you like, comment and subscribe. Definitely let me know your comments in the description below, it'd be great to hear that. And on top of that, do favourite and share the video, as it always helps. Alright guys, I've been Totally Dubbed, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Take care, bye bye.